Hello guys, Josh here. Welcome back to Josh W Buses and Trains. In today's video, it's a little bit of a different sit-down video as I haven't got as much time. So to film videos, of course, there's loads of routes that I can do route snippets for visuals for, and of course, I've still got loads of routes in terms of riding every Stagecoach West bus route, including North Bristol, certain routes in Stroud, certain routes in Gloucester, Cheltenham, Swindon urban areas. However, I haven't got the time. Well, I've got some time, but it's not a case of having enough time to film fully. I have got a rare time where I've been to Stroud, so hopefully those proper videos are coming back soon. However, I thought today I was going to do something a little bit different. As you can tell by the title of this video or the thumbnail, if you've read any of that, you might have just clicked on this because I upload daily. Thank you very much if you do. If you are new around here, I do upload every single day at 6 PM UK time, and I do try to change up my content. I do now do a lot of sit-down content as well, including my past, present, and future series, which I'm hoping to do episodes on Cheltenham Spa, Gloucester, Stroud, Kemble, Swindon, Didcot Parkway, Reading, and London Paddington, because that is one of the most well-known lines for me. I have done episodes on Pilning so far, and upcoming is Basingstoke and Winchester ahead of my visit to both stations to visit, Winchester University Open Evening, but of course I am going to be going there to film Bus Spotting in Winchester, exploring stations in Winchester, maybe a quick one at Basingstoke. I haven't planned that, but maybe if I've got time. I think it's a 20-minute change over there, so maybe a quick silent explorations. I'm not sure yet. And then I will be recording a little bit before that. So yeah, past, present, and future is still around, the sit-down videos. However, to this video, this is why I love Stagecoach and why I hate them, and why they are, one of the different companies in the UK. So if you are unaware, Stagecoach is one of those companies in the UK. They're probably one of the top 4 in my opinion. Stagecoach, First Group, Arriva, and then of course Go Ahead, which breaks up into different companies. Now, of course, Stagecoach is heavily criticised a lot of the time, but also are very good. So they break themselves into different areas. For example, my local is Stagecoach West. You also have Stagecoach Southwest, Stagecoach North, West, I think. I don't know. Stagecoach Manchester, which is now B Network, etc., etc. And Stagecoach London, which is the subsidised TfL transport. So, why do I love Stagecoach? Let's talk about it. Well, reason one is Stagecoach are a great company. They obviously offer their West Gold Day Rider in my area, and this exists in other areas. They have their urban area day riders, their evening riders, and their plus riders. Now, for the most part, the timetables are great, high frequency in the areas that are needed, and easy to connect, easy access buses, all of the rest of it. So they are a great company in terms of A, accessibility, B, ease for passengers in terms of buying tickets, getting tickets. Now that's on the app. Now this is why this video is named Why I Love Stagecoach and also hate them, because their ticket machine is not what you see on loads of other buses. Now these ticket machines are, of course, Stagecoach cannot be bothered. Of course, I don't know if this is an example for a lot of areas. However, Stagecoach have started to actually implement the new ticketer machines on the Park and Ride 100 service in the Cheltenham area on the new YX74 Enviro 400 MMCs. Now, indeed, I'm not sure if this is going to be a thing or it's just because the council have said we would prefer you using these ticket machines for the Park and Ride service, because it is only found on the Park and Ride shuttle service buses, which could be an indicator that the Arkle Park and Ride has special machines that you can buy that buy your tickets on, that you scan on the buses to get the free travel, the free parking with the travel. So honestly, the ticket machines aren't too much of an issue. Of course, I don't know if every company does this, but I've only experienced it on Stagecoach, and currently my card is on the blacklist for Stagecoach. So if your card declines 3 times in the same transactional area, I think it's on the same ticket machine at the same time. So if you try your card 3 or 4 times and it declines all 3 or 4 times, it will then be blocked for 45 days. I know friends that have had it happen to them. It's happened to myself personally. And you've got to do a lot of information to get it back. Now, if it keeps declining 3 or 4 times, like if you keep trying it not knowing it's blocked, then it will increase up to 90 days, which again isn't ideal. So you have to phone up the free phone or even email, but you have to give a lot of email, like a lot of stuff when you tell them, including the date of the last successful transaction, the last time you tried to use it unsuccessfully, and then like proof of that, as well as name, bank, like some of the details about the bank card, the company, all the rest of it. And then they can remove it from the blacklist, which they do almost instantly. Well, in a couple of days. So my friend got in contact and they were able to remove it from the blacklist within a couple of weeks, I think, which is very good. I haven't tried because, well, I don't keep bus tickets, so I'm not what I do, but I don't. So it's a little bit harder to find that information out. Now, realistically, that's not too much of an issue when you're boarding. Of course, it's a little bit annoying when it declines, and you know you've got money on your card. However, it's not too much of an issue. It's not too slow, and not many companies do tap on, tap off. Even the ones with ticketer machines, and it's not much better with ticketer machines. They're not the best ticket machines. It's every company except Stagecoach, really, for the primary purpose that don't have ticket machines is because they don't want to pay for them, and that's fair. Now, a thing that isn't ideal all the time is the vehicles. It's not the same with, it's not just Stagecoach, but it is passenger comfort and it is the vehicles. So, Stagecoach love using an old vehicle. Quite a lot of their old vehicles in the Cheltenham area, for example, have quite poor legroom, uncomfortable seating, no Wi-Fi anymore on the Golds, or any of their buses for that matter. There's no next stop announcements, even on the newer ones, really. The only ones you really see on is the 10 branded buses, the YT21 plated and the YX74 now plated because it's a legal obligation for them to have it after the YX69 number plate. So realistically, they are lacking in that department. Of course, Swindon's Bus Company have a next stop screens and announcements on most of their buses and new fleets. The Stagecoach fleet is very old and aging. Of course, there's been talks to get rid of the Alexander ALX 100s for however long, but there's no improvements. There's no tap on, tap off. So passenger ease and comfort isn't 10 out of 10, but it isn't 0 out of 10. So they're not the worst company in terms of that. They are reliable, and a lot of people say they're not. I don't really know where a lot of people are coming from. I've never had major issues with Stagecoach. The biggest issue is probably the bus diverted when it wasn't. I didn't think it was meant to, but then again, I'm not up there in the depot being told, don't go that way, it's closed, even if I live there and I know it's wide open. And also, sometimes, I think once it was running early, but you are meant to get to bus stops 5-10 minutes early if it's not a timing point. So realistically, that was my fault. I didn't miss it. I had to run for it, so I nearly missed it. But again, wasn't the driver's fault. It was my fault. He was early, but there wasn't a timing point for another, I think, couple of stops. So, and it wasn't nearby. So if you know the 51 service, South Turney Cross is the timing point, and I get on closer to the college lay-by timing point. So it's always running a bit early there. No, it's not always running early when I get on at my stop, but sometimes it is. So it's one of those where, again, it's not the driver's fault. If it's a timing point and it's leaving 3-4 minutes early, maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's a concern that needs to be addressed. But for the primary purpose, the regular bus stops is approximate timing. So if it comes early, it's not the driver's fault. It's not your fault either. It's approximate, so you can't take it to heart. Additionally, though, we've got breakdowns. Stagecoach experience so many breakdowns, and they are one of the worst companies for it in the area. They have breakdowns on and off every couple of weeks. Well, every week, let's say. They have issues with vehicles, they have malfunctions, they have breakdowns, they have late departing services due to issues, which isn't ideal. Now, of course, Cirencester College has subsidised travel with Stagecoach, and Stagecoach often have broken down routes or even routes running 15-20 minutes late because they've left late. This may be due to vehicle problems in the morning or it's broken down en route and has to be replaced. Now, all college routes arrive anywhere between 8:40 and 8:50, but sometimes they don't arrive till 9, 9:15, due to traffic or even breakdowns. Now, breakdowns are more common in the college routes because they use the older vehicles. It's an old fleet, it's an aging fleet, including the ALX 400s, some of the lower deckers, some of the double deckers. It's quite an aging fleet, and it's expected for the buses to break down, but it's a high frequency. You get the same on the MMCs. They are showing their wear and tear. Really, they're showing that they're not the best buses in the entire world. Well, of course they're not. They're only diesel units that, back in the day would have been really nice. The only difference with them is they're just major model change from the regular E100, E400s and E200s that we previously saw, with the first batch arriving in 2015, 2016. So they're still quite old buses still. You could still see the SN18 plated as 8 years old. So they're not the newest of fleet. But again, you shouldn't be getting problems like that on the buses, and maybe that's a company fault that really needs to be discussed, because primarily the purpose of a bus, last time I checked, is to take you from A to B on time. Now, again, as I've said, if you're getting on at a non-time appointment and it's early, not really the driver's fault. And if you're getting on at a non-time appointment and it's late, not really the driver's fault. If there's loads of traffic and you're traveling at peak time, not really the driver's fault. But if it's a broken down vehicle, it's still not the driver's fault. It could be an engineer's fault or even the company's fault, because maybe they're overworking the fleet, or they're over, preparing their buses. Like, the buses can't keep up with what they're being tasked to do, which happens a lot. So overall, Stagecoach is my favourite bus company. However, they have heavy amounts of flaws, but I think that's understandable in all companies. Of course, I thought First Bus were flawless, but I've been proven time and time again how they are not flawless. Of course, Stagecoach app is one of the worst bus apps in the network. I'm not a fan of it. If you've ever used it, you would know that it's one of those apps that it's not ideal. So it only updates long-term diversions, whereas not Great Western Railway, Go Ahead updates it no matter what. And you can get service updates across the routes. You can do proper live bus tracking, so you know the number plate, the features on board the bus. Stagecoach, the tracking's not ideal, and if a route's broken into two, it will only show up as well, like, if it hasn't started, like for example the 51, if it hasn't left town yet and you're getting on after town, it won't say if it's on time or late unless you properly look. So anyone that's trying to track Stagecoach buses, they do track, but I'd use bustimes.org, which is on Chrome, so it doesn't take any storage. You can have timetables there, you can have all of it there, as well as tracking, so you know exactly where your bus is, when it's scheduled to arrive, all the rest of it. And even if the route's broken into two, you can search up the route you want, click map, and it will show you the tracking vehicles, and then you click on the vehicle or zoom into where your stop is, and then basically the nearest vehicle will be the one that you're getting. It also predicts, fleets, so it can tell you what trip the bus is currently doing for the trip you're going to get if you're getting it later in the evening. So yeah, and that's all across the United Kingdom, Wales, Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Isle of Wight, I believe. Not further abroad yet, and that's buses, that's coaches, and you can either get timetables for underground on there, for Edinburgh trams, Blackpool trams. You can get it for a wide range of things on there, and it's a good site for the bus enthusiasts as well. So I would recommend that over Stagecoach Bus app. But for the go-ahead apps, they are good because they tell you the features. The timetables are actually proper on there. They're updated. They're good. And the long-term diversions. Speaking of diversions, many people get annoyed when the diversion isn't posted on the app. But because of how the app's made, which in my opinion it shouldn't be made like this, you have to use the OND or the OPD, I think it is, or OMD, sorry, Open Map Data is what they use. So of course, if the diversion isn't long term or if it isn't happening a while, then the only way you can find out is by going on Twitter. If a service is cancelled, it shows up on the app eventually, I think, I'm not sure, But if it's a late running service that eventually gets cancelled, it won't tell you on the actual bus stop that you're getting on at, because say it should have already served that bus stop, because obviously it thinks that service is gone by the time they're told it's been cancelled. So I always go to like Grafton Road to see if it's cancelled on there, because then I know it is cancelled. Say it's running 20-30 minutes late as well. So I do like Stagecoach. It is my favourite company. They do have flaws, but then so does every other company. I'm going to rate Stagecoach, but just for your interest, an 8 out of 10. I think that makes sense. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. There is more sit-down videos coming up. I think Cheltenham Spa will be my next past, present, and future episode. Thanks very much for watching. Have a very nice evening. See you next time. Bye-bye.